And welcome back. Jerusalem today is vibrant and alive, but 2,000 years ago, this city suffered a brutal siege at the hands of the Roman Empire that saw the Jewish people scattered to the ends of the earth. So how did this all unfold? We headed to the Museum of the Bible in Washington, D.C. recently to get an up-close look at ancient artifacts from right here in Jerusalem that tell a stunning story. Take a look. This is a new exhibit at the Museum of the Bible. One of my favorite exhibits here, and that's saying something, Jerusalem and Rome. You're going to lead us through the history of that conflict, that clash of cultures. Where are you taking us first?
Well, first, this is a great exhibit about the relationship between culture in Judea, Jewish culture in the first century, and how it was being impacted by the Roman Empire, which came in about 60 years before the time of Jesus and influenced daily life, politics, all kinds of things.
That imperial powerhouse, right. The mighty Roman Empire.
Do you go along with the powers that be, or do you do your own thing? Right. And you see this impacted in daily life. People have to make decisions all the time about, do they keep doing what they're doing? Do they buy things that are associated with the empire? And the things that might be associated with that. Here's a great example. You've got an oil lamp, which is imported. Wow. It's Eastern Terra Sigillata is what it's called. It's a very specific kind of pottery, imported. And some of it's very beautiful, but some of it has some symbolism. Like this one, for example, has a depiction of the god Eros, or Cupid.
So this is a pagan god depicted on this.
Exactly.
And it's so interesting, Jeff, because Roman, obviously a pagan powerhouse, but in Israel, in Judea, in Jerusalem, they worshiped the one true God, the God of Israel.
Exactly, and you have a commandment about graven images and other gods, so...
And there you have it. Would an Israelite use this? Would they be conflicted? There's a pagan deity on it.
It's a question you have to answer every day.
But you have that Roman imperial power kind of lording it over them, so to speak, and imposing their will. So what a conflict.
And these are wealthy status items. They're expensive. So, you know, do you want to show off your wealth? Do you not? There's all kinds of questions that come up with this.
And how old are these again?
Well, these are first century AD.
So these are 2,000 years old?
2,000 years old.
This is the time of Jesus. This is when it was all unfolding. The Gospels, Acts, Jerusalem, Rome.
Yeah, wow. I mean, these items are right from that time period and the daily life of that time.
And these are?
These are ossuaries, they're called.
And that is?
It's a very unique burial practice to this area and this time period. The Second Temple, the time around Jesus, 50 years earlier, 50 years later.
Okay.
The theory is that these are related to some of the Roman practices, which have some similar design and the stone elements to it. Okay. Yet Jewish practice was to have the body remain together. Okay. So it's a kind of a merger of those two practices. Wow. Right here in front of us.
We see obviously the stunning image of Masada on the wall behind us. Now the temple was destroyed.
Right.
70 AD,
70 AD.
By Titus, the Roman general.
And by 72, they come down to Masada.
This was the final stand for the Jewish rebels, the Herodian fortress fortified of Masada out there in the Judean desert on the Dead Sea. But we have genuine artifacts from Masada right here at the Museum of the Bible. Tell us about it.
Yeah, and they're nice illustrations of just daily life again. So even though it's a very stressful situation, there's been remains discovered of a comb here, which is preserved in the desert because of the air and the climate, and a sandal, at least the heel of a sandal, or the sole of a sandal.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it looks like a child. It's awful small.
Probably a woman's foot, but we know it's not Roman because of the style, so it's a Jewish item. And these were found at Masada. They date to the 1st century, so we don't know exactly, where, who, but just daily life at the top of this climactic moment. even though this was a period of conflict and stress and tension, out of this century really comes Rabbinic Judaism and, of course, the birth of Christianity.
That's right.
So two of the major religions of the world are birthed during this time of conflict.
Yeah.
A great example of that enduring desire for the temple and hope in Jerusalem is seen in this very nice lamp here, which dates to the 5th or 6th century, so it's about 500 years later.
Okay.
But it retains imagery from the temple and gives an indication that the people were still longing for the temple. The menorah there, so the candles would have been on top. You see a date palm. You see a fruit, which is one of the fruits that would have been part of the sacrifices. Exactly, exactly. And the shofar, the ram's horn.
Of course.
All elements associated with the temple, and all continue to be symbols of that religious life and that longing that continued for centuries, even today.
Jeff, these are very rare. This oil lamp is very rare. Not many of these available around the world. Now, this was supplied, all the exhibits here were supplied by Hebrew University in Israel.
That's correct, yeah. All of the objects, all the descriptions, everything comes from Hebrew University in Jerusalem.
Wow.
Excellent partners with the museum, and very pleased to have this exhibit here for an entire year.
Well, you just heard the tragic story of how Jerusalem was destroyed by the Romans. After the break, you'll see how this city and this nation, Israel, has been miraculously reborn. And we've got the photos to prove it. Folks, you'll want to see this. Don't move.